ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Hari Om. In this series of lectures, I'll be trying to discuss on Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji's profound work called Vivekachoodamani. Adi Shankaracharya ji, born in 8th century AD, he was born to a very pious couple, and it's said that both of them had, his parents had a vision wherein Bhagavan Shiva appeared in both of their dreams and asked them a similar question: do you want a son who lives long but is unworthy, or you want a son who is living for a very short span of time but whose life is of a great virtue, that posterity will remember him? He is also considered he would be also considered as an avatar, and both of them in their individual dreams asked for somebody who would maybe live shorter but who would be so virtuous that the entire humanity would remember and recognize such a great soul. Then Bhagavan Shiva said that he would himself take birth as their son. They exchanged this dialogue early in the morning, and they were surprised that they both had same dream and they had a similar reaction to the questions asked by Bhagavan Shiva. Therefore, when their child was born, he was named as Shankara. Shankaraha, the one whose presence itself is of great auspiciousness. Pretty soon after he was born, his father died, and left by his mother from the age of 6. He started pestering her, asking her permission to join the Gurukula of Sri Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya and take sannyasa and follow this master. The funny thing about sannyasa is when somebody does take to the path, everybody appreciates that person and their parents. But when our own child gets to that path, it becomes quite difficult to digest that fact. So when Shankara, not yet Adi Shankara, but when Shankara asked his mom, Aryamba, "Mother, I would like your permission to take sannyasa," she kept refusing. At Kaladi, he, I would say, played a prank, or it was the Maya Shakti. Whatever it be, it is a tradition in the ancient Hindu society that early morning they would go take bath in the river. There were no showers and there were no bathrooms but they would go to the river and perform their morning bath and offer salutations to Lord Sun through the oblations that are offered. So he had just gone in. He was known to be a good swimmer and pretty soon started crying out for help, saying that a crocodile, which is not found in that part of Kerala, Kaladi, especially in that river, he started crying foul, saying that, hey, there is a crocodile that is pulling me down and I'll be killed. Please, somebody save me. And after a few such calls for help, with doomsday looking straight into his face, Adi Shankaracharya ji turns to his mother and says, "O mother, as my dying last wish, would you grant me having sannyasa?" The mother, not being there to disappoint the son with last dying wish, says, "Tathastu, maybe it's so." And pretty soon the crocodile vanishes and Shankara gets up and starts walking out, saying, "Mother, thank you for your permission." Taking her thus permission and promising that whenever it was her last moments that he would come back and take care of her, and assured her of her last rites. Now Adi Shankara, still Shankara, he did not get sannyasa yet, treks down all the way to Narmada where Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya was having his little ashram, Gurukula. And it is said, there are some miraculous mystical stories that are attributed to Adi Shankaracharya ji, that Narmada river was overflowing and he with his Kamandalu filled up the entire Narmada, thus by saving the ashram. There is another story that he approached Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya and asked his guru to accept him as a student and confer him with sannyasa. By this time, Adi Shankaracharya ji was about 8 years old. Now imagine an 8-year-old coming to you and asking, "Hey, I would like to take sannyasa." We would probably like to test that child if he is joking or if he is serious about this particular path. So to test him, Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya ji gave him a book of Vishnu Sahasranama and said, "I hope you have read this beautiful work of Vedas ji, wherein there is a dialogue between Bhishma and Yudhishthira and the entire Vishnu Sahasranama is narrated. If you can give me your opinion and meaning of these 1,000 names." It is said that he stayed awake all night through and wrote down the bhashya for this beautiful Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, and that is claimed as his first bhashya, first commentary ever written. And at that age of 8, when you read through that Vishnu Sahasranama bhashya, he has referred to Upanishads, he has referred to Karma Kanda of the Vedic literature, he has referred to Puranas, he has referred to various scriptures in trying to give the apt meaning for this apt, short and most precise meaning for every single word in Vishnu Sahasranama. The next day morning, when this manuscript was provided to his guru, the guru was stunned and says, "It would be my honor to give you sannyasa because I don't see anything that is required by you to learn." So thus, having been initiated, for the first few years he spent at the ashram rewriting, not authoring, but rewriting the manuscripts of the entire Vedic literature, which was once written by sage Vedas ji. He rewrote the entire manuscript. There's a story that he has written it again. And then at the age of about 14 or 15, started traveling across various parts of India. And while he was doing so, he was also interviewing people, he was meeting and gathering with the various mindsets. He was also challenging people of various traditions, various schools of thoughts, and it was something like a PhD where after you have done all your research, you have to defend your thesis. So it is something of that kind wherein Adi Shankaracharya ji would challenge the school of thought, whether it is a Buddhist or a Jain or various such school of thoughts which were Hindu as well as those who were not non-Hindu. He would challenge these various schools of thoughts to re-establish the purity of the Hindu mindset into the Indian or into the Hindu mainstream. Now, when Adi Shankaracharya ji was traveling thus, re-establishing Sanatana Dharma, he also put an effort to reach across, train people, teach them. While he was doing that, as if that which has been described so far was not sufficient, he was also composing and writing various scriptures. All the length and breadth of scriptures that Adi Shankaracharya ji has offered us, if we categorize them, there would be these probable categories. The first category being that he had commented on the Bhagavad Gita, he had commented on Brahma Sutras, he had commented on the 10 Maha Upanishads, 10 Dashopanishads. Then he commented on Vishnu Sahasranama, Sanat Sujatiya, and various such works that he had commented upon. Now, along with the commentaries, he had also composed various bhakti texts. Take name of any god or goddess. There is a stotra, a panchakam or a shatkam or a dashakam on different deities. So there are the dedicated stotras and shlokas written by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji on various gods and goddesses. He has also composed bhakti texts like Ananda Lahari, Shivananda Lahari and Saundarya Lahari. Along with these, he has also composed many spontaneous creations like Bhaja Govindam, Kanakadhara Stotram, Manisha Panchakam. So these are his spontaneous creations. Maybe the fourth category would be those introductory texts like, Bhaja Govindam can be considered as one. Then we have Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Vivekachoodamani, Upadesha Sahasri, Jivan Muktananda Lahari. So he has commented, he has written various, and these are called the Prakarana Granthas. Why was there a necessity for such Adi Shankaracharya to write, wherein he could have spent so much of time in commenting on Upanishads or various other scriptures for the easy understanding of a common man? Why did he have to write these Prakarana Granthas? I'll get back to that Prakarana Granthas in a minute. Along with these, I think the fifth category that can be attributed to Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya is the Pithamnaya Mathamnaya, how to establish a matha, how to run a pitha, who can be the pontiff, who can be the person in charge, what should be the administrative faculty, what should be the process of education, so various aspects of running the ashram was also authored by him. So at a very tender age, not only he had good grip at Sanskritam, good grip at Vedic literature, good grip at trying to convince people to the right path of Sanatana Dharma. He also established 4 ashramas, 4 dham, the south one in Sringeri, the east in Puri, the north the Jyotirmath, and the west in Dwaraka. And each one of them, these ashrams, he appointed different students of his own so that they can teach that particular locality and further propitiate this knowledge through various generations. Now, so much that Adi Shankaracharya ji has offered that in an invocation shloka we often sing, we chant, uh, Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Starting from Bhagwan Shankara himself, Sadashiva Samarambham, and most of the avatars of Bhagwan Shiva have always been in the form of a guru. And the Adi Guru is Dakshinamurti, Sadashiva Samarambham, starting from there. Shankaracharya Madhyamam, in between Adi Shankaracharya, who revived the Sanatana Dharma and its basic understanding. Asmadacharya Paryantam, the present Guru from whom I am learning. Salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. So Adi Shankaracharya ji has played a pivotal role, and therefore he is often mentioned and remembered. If we have to think of offering our salutations, there are two people. One is Vedas ji and the other one is Adi Shankaracharya ji. Various works of Vedas ji are commented upon by Adi Shankaracharya ji. Now, why is it necessary to write these Prakarana Granthas? If we get to that topic, I would say that looking at the length and breadth of Hindu scriptures that we have in our Sanatana Dharma, though the main scripture is called the Vedas, Shruti. Shruti meaning that which is heard by this generation of students from their master. They learn this, perfect it, and then they grow to become a teacher for the next generation. Thus, generation after generation, this knowledge which has been given, which has been partaken from the earlier set of gurus to the next set of Sishya, we don't need a prophet to come across to give this knowledge, but we believe in the lineage of prophets, lineage of such Guru Parampara. Now, in this Guru Parampara, sometimes at least the Guru Parampara that I belong to, I can date back all the way up to what, 7,000 years, and that way back that you can count on all the gurus that were there in the lineage that we are a part of, proud part of. Now these Guru Paramparas, then they have maintained this knowledge, they have given this knowledge from one level to the other, from one group of Sishyas to the other. When this knowledge was given, it was learned through hearing, therefore it was called Shruti. The second set of scriptures are called Smriti. Smriti Granthas have the know-how as to how a human being should behave while interacting with the world around. The do's and don'ts, the code of conduct was given in these Smriti Granthas. Of course, one of the famous or infamous, as depends on the commentary that you read, is Manusmriti, the code of conduct for Manavaha. Another beautiful Smriti Grantha would be Bhagavad Gita, because it also tells us about code of conduct. So these would be considered under Smriti Granthas. The difference between the Shruti and the Shruti is not authored by anybody. Knowledge and wisdom is not authored by anybody. It is transferred from one generation to the other, and there is no authorship to it. Like if you look at it, who wrote the language? Or who wrote the music? The first ones. You don't find an author. It evolved. Similarly, that wisdom which evolved and passed on from one generation to the other, that is Shruti. Whereas Smriti is authored. Manu wrote Manusmriti. Vedavyas ji wrote the Mahabharata, in which we find Bhagavad Gita. These are written scriptures. So Shruti, Smriti. Then the third scriptures or third group of scriptures are called Itihasa. Itihasa, valid history. Please do not refer to this valid history as myth or mythological characters. Because myth means made up, that which is not real, that which is fictitious. The Western mindset or the Western theologists, when they refer to the Hindu scriptures, they often are found referring to it as mythology or mythological characters. At least we as Hindus should refrain from doing so, because these are not fictitious. Itihasa, iti, as described in this book, in the scripture. Ha, indeed, asa, happened. Both the authors were contemporary of that particular period and had an impact in that particular era, and those that it was written were often found to be read by that on whom it was written. Valmiki, when he wrote this, his first students were Lavakusha, the sons of Rama, and Bhagwan Sri Ramchandraji heard it himself of what was written in that Valmiki Ramayana. Now, Vedavyasji is an integral part of Mahabharata, which is the second Itihasa, second history. That is the third category. Now, the fourth category are called the Purana. What are the Puranas? The Puranas, what again Vedavyasji has done ingeniously, that he has seen that all these different deities, gods and goddesses that are there, they also run into huge numbers. And to understand the entire labyrinth and setup of these gods and goddesses in the Sanatana Dharma system, it's quite difficult. Especially when somebody coming from a single mindset of a monotheistic God, when you see a diaspora of gods and goddesses and deities worshipped. So what Vedavyasji did, that he chronicled the life, origin and story of that particular god and the devotees that worshipped and attained to that lord, that deity, and had a darshan, and also various rishis and muni who have done tapas on that particular deity. So all these aspects of gods, which were compiled in a chronological order, the chronicles of various deities are called Purana. Now, when we are reading Purana, there are certain stories or certain anecdotes or certain metaphors that are referred to, which may not be real, but they have a certain point to be conveyed. And in that communication, the guru and shishya who are sharing this particular knowledge, it is also mentioned that, for example, let us take this story to identify that which we have to learn through this story. But just because an anecdote or a metaphor is used, it does not make the Purana a mythology. It still has a validity at the physical level, validity at the astral or at the deity level, and validity at a spiritual level. Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika and Adhyatmika level. Anyway, these are the four aspects of our scriptures. Now when you go into the Shruti, which are the Vedas, we have four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. Prior to Vedavyasji, these scriptures were not divided in this manner. They were very loosely divided, that there is a Rigvediya Shakha on this side of Ganga, there is the Samavediya Shakha on that side of Yamuna, and then there is the Yajurvediya Shakha here, then the Jabal Rishi Prokta Atharva Shakha is on this side of Sindhu. So they were spread all across. And this wisdom, this knowledge, which was running through these different Gurukulas, Vedavyasji compiled all these from different Gurukulas, learned them, memorized them, and for the first time, that which was Shruti was made available through Vedavyasji's effort in a written format. He made sure that there were 4 students that learnt each one of these Veda Shakha, and they propitiated the students that they would learn this Shakha, and thus thereby retaining the authenticity of the Vedic scripture. Now, once somebody goes into the Vedic literature and wants to read through Vedic literature, it's quite extensive. It's a huge work of compilation. How does one go through the maze of this Vedic literature? So the maze of Vedic literature, if you want to understand, there are these 4 books: Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharva Veda. Now let me take an example of the Rig Veda. Within each Veda, there are themes of different subjects that are studied. Now, different aspects of subjects as well. Now, each theme was called a Samhita. Within each theme, there are 4 subcategories. These 4 subcategories are the mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. So 4 Vedas. Each Veda have different themes. Each theme is called Samhita. Within each theme there are 4 aspects, subcategories: Mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. Mantra. Mantra is like a formula. Understanding that formula and applying it into various aspects of day-to-day life and its interaction is called Brahmana. Expertise in that mantra. Now, those who wanted to not just stick to the box but want to think out of the box, they were allowed to go into solitude, research into that. Therefore, that solitude was called Aranyaka, born in the Aranya. The third. And the fourth is the Upanishad. These Upanishads were the culmination of each theme. That this theme, when you follow meticulously, this is where that you reach. And what does Upanishad mean? Upa, taking you closest to. Nischayena, definitely. Taking you definitely closest to what? Closest to that Sat. Sat, the truth. So there are various Upanishads as the end part of the Vedas. Being the end part of each Samhita, the Upanishads also got a nickname called Veda Anta, the end of Vedas, the end portion of Vedas, Vedanta. In understanding this Vedanta, what does Vedanta talk about? It talks about you, the world that you live in, the God that created you and the world, and what is the relationship and how does one evolve to a higher state of existence. Consistently, that is what Upanishads strive at. The language of the Puranas are with the anecdotes and metaphors and storytelling, but the language of Upanishads is pretty much direct. To understand the directness that is indicated through the Upanishads, one has to understand the vocabulary that the Upanishads are indicating. Not well trained with the vocabulary of the Upanishads, it would become very difficult to understand, to grasp the final goal, to understand the finality of this message of Upanishad. So, within the Hindu understanding, Sanatana Dharma, there are various traditions. Now, these various traditions, Sampradaya, predominantly can be said we have 3 Sampradayas: Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Advaita. Now, Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Advaita are the lenses through which we see the scriptures of how I define myself, how I define God, how I define my relationship with God, and how I interact with this world around in that relationship. Dvaita, separate, distinct from that ultimate. Vishishtadvaita, an aspect of that ultimate, but still distinctly separate. Advaita, inseparable. Adi Shankaracharya ji's Sampradaya is the Advaita Siddhanta, Advaita Vedanta. Now, to understand various terms, terminologies, and their hidden meaning, that when we are reading Upanishads, what is mentioned, like in a postdoc, they refer to certain things, and one should be at par with what that is being referred to and understand the references without having to learn about them at that point. So, Adi Shankaracharya ji developed this beautiful technique of picking these concepts that the Upanishads are speaking, arrange them in such a sequential order that a novice who wants to understand Vedanta is introduced to these terms, the terminologies, and the meaning behind these terms. They may look similar, but they are different. So, to give that depth of understanding so that the Upanishads could be understood well, so that the Brahma Sutras can be understood well, so that the Bhagavad Gita can be understood and applied in day-to-day life well. Adi Shankaracharya ji developed this scheme, and this scheme of relating to these terms and bringing the meaning to a layman's understanding, those books are called Prakarana Grantha, that which enables us to learn, understand the subtler concepts. Of these various Prakarana Granthas, one of the most beautifully written one, poetical excellence, is Vivekachoodamani. Chudamani, those of you who are into dance, you know that there is a Surya Chandra, and on the top there is a mani, there is a ornament which goes onto the top of the bun of the hair that is made. That is called Chudamani, meaning it is the zenith of the ornamentation. That is Chudamani. Chudamani, the zenith of what? Zenith of understanding, which is called Viveka, knowledge and wisdom. So, to understand these terms and to see the practicality of it in its application in our day-to-day life, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji put this effort. Again, let me remind you, he was traveling on foot across the entire Bharatavarsha. Bharatavarsha is not restricted to the Indian map today as in 2016. It was far wider, far bigger. He traveled on foot all across. While traveling, he would go to different schools of thoughts of masters and try re-establish the Sanatana Dharma way of thinking by pure debate and logic. Thus, by re-establishing Sanatana Dharma. While traveling, connect with people, create sishyas, create liaisons in each state, each country, each kingdom, so that he can communicate with them, so that there can be an organized way of re-evaluating the Hindu values, Sanatana Dharma values, and re-establishing them to the most chaste order. While doing so, he also establishes the Guru Sishya Sampradaya, he establishes the 4 ashramas, and while doing all this, write commentaries, write bhakti granthas, write spontaneous works, write prakarana granthas, and all this between the age of 15 to 32. A short span, he accomplishes so much. It's amazing how much one dedicated individual can really contribute. Therefore, if one understands the contribution of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji, Natamastak, for a lifetime, for life's time worth, all that we can do is prostrate at his feet. Because his contribution is mammoth. He must have been consistently, incessantly working 22 hours a day to give this kind of profound knowledge. As in one of the Bhajagovindam shlokas he says, Bhrataha, oh brother, why are you getting caught up? So seeing the humanity caught up in the wrong methods, he said, let me provide the right method. And in such effort, he has written this beautiful book which carries about 585 to 87, depends on which publications that you see. We will be following Puja Gurudev's commentary on Vivekachoodamani, and it's like a match made in heaven. Beautiful poetic expose by Adi Shankaracharya ji, and on that beautiful poetic expression, Gurudev's commentary with such beautiful English, and it just matches. So I would request all the listeners to procure a commentary of Puja Gurudev on Vivekachoodamani. I'll probably provide the link underneath this particular video so that you can click and order your own copy. We will be henceforth looking into the various shlokas of the Vivekachoodamani as a text, and going shloka by shloka, word by word meaning, and trying to understand in depth what Vivekachoodamani has to offer us and how it can transform us as a human being. So let me start with the first shloka today, though I may not be able to go into the meaning, but let us begin with it. Please try repeating after me. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta, Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta, Gocharam Tama Gocharam, Gocharam Tama Gocharam, Govindam Paramanandam, Govindam Paramanandam, Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham, Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. So from next week onwards, I'll be requesting you to have a book so that you can follow along and learn and chant these shlokas along with me. Then the second thing is, there will be a couple of shlokas. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam is one. Then there will be one more shloka, because the first shloka of Vivekachoodamani is a salutations and a Mangalacharana done by Adi Shankaracharya ji to his Guru and to his Ishta Devata. So similarly, we offer our salutations to Adi Shankaracharya ji for having given us such a beautiful work called Vivekachoodamani. So we will be chanting those two shlokas and the first shloka of Vivekachoodamani to begin with. So please come prepared with these shlokas and the book itself, so that we can regularly learn and grow and be inspired by Vivekachoodamani. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.